Greetings, ladies and metal gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Riptide, written by Possible Lattice. The interrogation didn't happen in a harsh, dark room with bright lights. There were no punches or blades, no screams from other cells, no loud music, sensory deprivation, or high-pressure cold water. Nor did the interrogation happen in a lush, verdant garden with all luxuries imaginable. No sultry maidens offering succulent fruits and meats. No compelling, charismatic figure promising everything one's heart could even dream to desire. Representative Kurt Corliss was, quite frankly, disappointed. He had rather looked forward to living out one of the tropes. To spit his blood and cap his eyes in defiance, bruised but not broken. Or to nobly resist temptation with stoic sagacity, rooted steadfastly to principle over pleasure. Both of those sounded interesting enough. Instead, he was sitting in what looked like a mild management corporate boardroom, and the interrogator was some sort of floating feathered sphere, a Clovian, if memory served. Nor was there any preamble, posturing, or context. Instead, the furry orb launched right into the heart of the matter. We wish to resolve the issue of the minds of humanity. Kurt blinked and was momentarily at a loss for words, eventually replying with, "Oh?" "Confirmed. We wish to resolve the issue of the minds of humanity." He blinked again. "You know, we all have, different minds, right?" "Confirmed. Minds refers in this case to a sense collectively to the thought patterns of the species human." He nodded. "Ah, right, so how we think? Your characterization is not entirely accurate, but is mostly suitable. So, what? You want to know what motivates us? I imagine the same things as most sentient species. Food, water, shelter, reproduction, pleasure, avoidance of pain, all that usual basic biology stuff. I'm not a scientist, but I know those are our usual drivers, historically speaking." "You have misapprehended. We are aware of your motivations. We do not successfully process, as you put it, how you think." Kurt's forehead wrinkled in confusion and mild exasperation. "Aren't all your species mind readers? Clovians, right? I recall that from the briefings they gave us on this expedition. Can't you just, take over my mind and tell how I think?" The floating feather orb shifted, its off-white exterior darkening slightly. Without knowing how, Kurt received a strong impression that he was embarrassed or reluctant to answer honestly. "No." "No? No to which part? Yes, we can read minds. No, we cannot enter human minds." "Really? I'm amazed you would give that information up readily. Dishonesty is not a Clovian nature." Kurt snorted, his tone becoming more combative after what he considered a rather admirable exercise in patience. "You invited me here for an ostensibly diplomatic meeting, incapacitated both of my bodyguards, and then kidnapped me. How's that not dishonesty?" "Discovery is part of diplomacy. Your bodyguards would have interfered in that process. They have not been harmed, nor have you." He rolled his eyes. "Ah, so you're one of those we never lie, but we actually totally fecking lie species." "Query not understood. Please rephrase." "My species sees that you are doing here is dishonesty and immoral and, in certain contexts, an act of aggression. In my case, as an Earth galactic representative, it may also be seen as an act of war." "Ah, noted for future diplomatic endeavors. Please rest assured that we are unlikely to need to repeat this strategy. If you cooperate and provide us answers, you will not be harmed." His eyes narrowed. "It's still aggressive, even if I'm not harmed, but fine. Early diplomacy can be ugly. So let's get back to it. Why can't Clovians enter our minds? Is it something physical? Something in our biological makeup?" Vague tones of frustration entered the feather orb synthesized speech. No, we had assumed as much, but biologically you are nearly indistinguishable from 4 other species we can read almost without effort. So what's the issue?" "Can you swim, Representative Corliss? We understand many of your species are able to swim in liquid water." Curtis's bemused expression betrayed his inability to follow the sudden conversational shift. Yeah, I can swim. Better than most. I competed in high school and college. I can also juggle, possibly, if you're wondering. Party trick to meet girls. What does swimming have to do with anything?" "Please allow the analogy. Your species are adept short-term coastal and inland swimmers. but you would not fare well in the middle of your home planet's oceans, correct? He chuckled. You've done your homework. Yeah, that's putting it lightly. We don't last long in the open ocean. Does that have to do with why you can't read us, our penchant for swimming? It's an analogy, Representative. Please focus. Oh, wait a second. You are saying that we are the ocean for you. Your brains are, yes. How? Silence stretched for a moment. Well, we are not inclined to dishonesty. This fact makes many among the Chlorian people perceive a true threat for the first time in millennia. We believe that we are descended to a position beyond the point of being challenged by other species. It is why we are the backbone of the intergalactic political and economic systems. Potentially aggressive species cannot hope to threaten us when we have control of their minds. They have always understood that. It has been millennia since we engaged in military force actions. We are unchallenged, but also do not seek conquest. This balance has functioned adequately. Kurt nodded. And here we are, unreadable and uncontrollable. It must make you think that you have a new rival on your hands. That's the only worry. I can assure you humanity has no such ambitions. Our brains can overreact and have strong impulses due to our violent, difficult evolutionary process. And we are very martially capable. We have mostly evolved past military solutions, unless pushed to that position. We are a trader species. You might not be able to control us, but we aren't developing some secret conquest plan, if that is the worry. Certainly, you have gleaned that much from reading the minds of the various species that live, work, and trade on Earth. We have, but the silence stretched. Kurt rolled his eyes. Look, how can we do diplomacy if you keep being afraid of the truth? Stop dancing around it. What else? Very well. It is not merely that you cannot be controlled. You can control. Kurt barked a short laugh. No, we can't. Humans have no psionics. That's well known. The ocean does not control, but it does sometimes control. Do you see? No. You cannot actively control, but the Clovian in the vicinity of a human mind is unable to always pull themselves out. Your minds become aware of us. You drag us along with your thoughts, like an undertow or a riptide in your rivers or oceans. This without even truly knowing. Your minds have some sort of natural self-defense humans do not seem aware they possess. Even when not used offensively, your minds are wild and terrifying places. Your thoughts and impulses are raw and animalistic. Several Clovian contact agents were driven mad before we realized this property of human brains. We fear that, were this knowledge weaponized, you can not only resist our control, but ensnare us against our will. After the long speech, the Clovian hovered silently. Kurt could sense the air, some vague mixture of anger, fear, and a sort of haughtiness, as if this development had disrupted the natural order of things. Eventually, Kurt nodded. I think I see your fear. We might feel the same in your position. I would like to take your concerns back to my people. We should be able to train our diplomats and traders on Clovian routes to exercise mental control techniques we have, such as yoga, meditation, and breathing exercises. These maintain our brains in a calmer state. We are also happy to pass the explicit laws forbidding humans from knowingly ensnaring Clovian in highly remotive thoughts. We can also mandate that our Clovian-centered diplomats and politicians refrain from caffeine, alcohol, and other substances that can cause mood spikes or cause us to lose mental control. These measures, together, should substantially reduce the risk to your people of any unwanted riptide from our brains. As for whether humanity will weaponize this ability, well, true diplomacy requires trust. You'll have to learn to trust us, as the species you read trust you. The Clovian, after a long pause, seemed to dip in assent. You are correct in this regard. Your suggestions are sound. Please take these steps. You are now free to go. As Kurt stood, his expression darkened and the mood of the room shifted as the Clovian sensed a change. I almost forgot. One more thing. With a powerful effort to focus, he was able to sense the mind of the Clovian across the table from him, as well as the 5 more posted inside the room. It wasn't much. He had been honest that humans did not possess true psionic ability. But knowing they could read him and be influenced by him placed them in his mind as vague directional shadows, like points on a compass. With the focus held, for the next 30 seconds, Kurt forced to the forefront of his mind some of the darkest images of humanity. The piles of burning bodies and empty shoes in the concentration camps of history, the starving and the diseased, the brutalized body of Emmett Till, the cold-hearted murder-suicides of families, the terror of gang-related retaliation maiming, the bodies of coal miners, children and men alike, caked with soot and hacking away their final hours with diseased lungs, the vacuumed, desiccated, and discarded bodies of the early lunar wars. In his mind, he could hear the Clovians shrieking in terror, trying in vain to escape the focused, awful power of his thoughts. He relented and cleared his mind, taking a moment to focus on the blue skies, clean air, and simplicity, stilling his mind and freeing theirs. The air in the room was nearly electric, dense, heavy, tangible. The once floating feathered orb now lay heavily on the table, gasping. Its synthesized speech, it plaintively wailed, "Why?" Kurt snarled back unapologetically. "Because you could have just asked. Instead, you hurt my men and took me as though it was your right. Your concerns were valid. We would have been sympathetic to them. But you never even bothered to ask and give us a chance to say yes. You were worried, so you did what you wanted. Our rights be damned. Don't you see the damn irony in your fear that humans would ensnare you against your will while doing the exact same thing to an elected representative of humanity? You've had the ability to exercise power over other species for so long that you think that you're entitled to it. You're not. We don't enjoy what we have been as a species, but we will retain it to defend ourselves." He straightened, exhaled, and nodded sharply. "You will reunite me with my guards now. I will bring your concerns to our leaders. Humanity genuinely looks forward to sharing the dream of a free and prosperous galaxy with the Clovian people. But try remember, if your people decide that you don't feel like sharing the dream, we're happy to welcome you to our nightmares." End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.